When you think of the word suffering, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For many of us, we think of large-scale issues like famine or natural disasters. I've been thinking about this question a lot, mainly due to the fact that I've been reading this one article. In Elisa Gabbert's A Poem and a Painting About the Suffering That Hides in Plain Sight, the author examines two different works and how they challenge how suffering is perceived. She looks at W.H. Auden's poem Musée des Beaux-Arts and Pieter Bruegel's painting, Landscape with the Fall of Icarus, believing that they show how suffering is in the eye of the beholder and is often overlooked. There are many great things about Gabbert's article. However, in this video, I want to focus on how she uses ethos, pathos, and logos to create evidence that best impacts the viewer. Firstly, the author uses ethos immediately within her article to get the reader's attention. Ethos, or the rhetorical technique of establishing credibility, is important to have in the beginning of a piece of media so that the audience is aware that the author is a person they can trust. Gabbert begins the article by stating, quote, "I've been reading this short, wry poem about suffering for more than 20 years." End quote. This helps let the reader know that this is not someone who is looking at Auden's work for the first time, but somebody who has viewed it from multiple different angles throughout their life. When I read this statement, I knew that I could trust Gabbert's analysis and whatever information she shared later in the article. Next, Gabbert uses pathos by using images that incite emotion in the viewer, which draws them in and immerses them in her analysis. Part of her analysis is based upon the painting Landscape with the Fall of Icarus, which is an emotionally impactful piece. I would like you all to take a look at this landscape. While it first looks peaceful, take a second look at the bottom right corner. Down there, you can see that Icarus is drowning, and a new feeling takes hold. On top of this, Gabbert also zooms in on different parts of the painting to isolate the section that she's talking about, allowing for more interaction from the audience. Lastly, Gabbert uses logos to supply facts about the background of the poem and painting that she's speaking about. When most people think of logos, they think of data and statistics. However, the author uses logos throughout research behind what has influenced the creators to make their respective pieces. Firstly, she examines Auden and how his living through a period of political turmoil influenced his worldview. She then looks at Bruegel and his other works. While she doesn't focus much upon his background, she still does research into his other works to see how his paintings often show similar scenes. They usually have important figures hidden within plain sight, which is similar to what Gabbert is trying to say within her work. Later, she returns back to the original poem, but now that we have more background information, we are able to understand the words at a new level. Conclusion, Elisa Gabbert's A Poem and a Painting About the Suffering That Hides in Plain Sight uses ethos, pathos, and logos to better prove the author's point that these creators are showing that we often ignore suffering through their works. By using these rhetorical strategies, I felt that I was better able to understand what the author was trying to say. Even though I had never seen either of the works that Gabbert discusses, I felt that the way she described them helped me connect to them the way that she had. The idea that suffering hides in plain sight is an important one, especially today. There are so many things going on within our world that it reminds us to take a moment and look around us to see if there might be something that we are missing.